Well, our correspondent, Navin Singh Khadka, has been at the COP25 and joins us live now. Navin, we've heard a lot about what they disagreed on. What did they manage to reach agreement on, though?
Well, basically, what they have agreed is to agree next year. That is how this has been phrased. So in Glasgow, when they meet, they come up with those targets. Remember, this has started with the urge that countries need to significantly raise their carbon cut ambitions because the world needs to do 5 times more than what has been pledged. Now, that kept on going on for the last 2 weeks, no agreement. And finally, they have agreed that they will come with something so that they are prepared in the next COP26, that is in Glasgow. That is more or less. But then other key issues, many of them they remain unresolved and great disappointment. People are angry.
And in terms of the steps and measures that have been discussed, just remind us, just set out what their goal is. What are they trying to achieve?
So first, they started that, the significant rise in ambitions in terms of countries, they will have to come up with those targets. What percentage of carbon cut emissions? How much will they raise from what's been pledged? Because the context here is science. The world, countries, to do 5 times more if we are to avoid dangerous climate change. Now, that is, again, like, we'll agree, we'll come up, that's okay. And basically, the fighting was between fast developing countries like China or India and developed countries. So developed countries were saying that fast emerging economies too would need to do, whereas fast emerging economies like China and India were saying that first, developed countries need to show what they have done in recent years. That kept this whole thing. And then there were poor countries who were saying that, well, we are fighting on this, but what about us? We are bearing the brunt. And as a result, in this plenary just now that ended here, representatives of poor countries were saying that the issue of climate finance, money, was not even properly discussed and not properly enshrined in this document. And that has been a big concern.
And then when we see the likes of Brazil raising objections, we know that the US pulled out of the earlier Paris climate agreement. What sort of a sense is there among the other countries? Is it damaging their hope that actually they can, the rest of them, achieve enough to limit the rise in global temperatures without those key nations?
Yes. So if those commitments are not there, then clearly science has said that if you don't do 5 times more, then clearly what we are seeing now, droughts, hurricanes, cyclones, wildfire, they will amplify this. It's going to intensify and more of those things. So as a result, there's this deep sense of dissatisfaction and many negotiators, observers even, they were saying that this has been a letdown. But again, some were saying that at least they have agreed that they would come up with something in the next COP, the next meeting in Glasgow. That, they say, is somewhere they could pull the thread from. Now, can they, is a big question. And now also the issue of carbon cut mechanism, that's another big thing which they could not agree on. That was, in fact, the contentious issue. And Brazil, you mentioned, has been arguing that it should be allowed to carry over its old carbon credits into the new regime. So has agreed. So has been the argument of India. But then there are countries who say that if you let those old carbon credits carry over, then the overall ambition, target of reducing carbon emissions is not going to be met. That is still a contentious issue, and the president said it still remains to be resolved.
OK, Navin Singh Khadka there in Madrid. Thanks very much.